Hi everybody, it's Amanda from AmandaReads, and today I am going to be doing my February wrap-up video. In February, I read 13 books, 11 of which were a physical book, one was an ebook, and one was an audiobook. The first book I read was Bad Taste in Boys by Carrie Harris, and I did a review on this that you can check out on my channel. I gave this book 3 out of 5 stars. The second book I finished this month was These Things Hidden by Heather Gudenkauf. Again, I did a book review on this on my channel, so feel free to check that out if you want to know my thoughts. I ended up giving this book 5 out of 5 stars. I really enjoyed it. I read it so quickly, it was really great, and I recommend this book. The third book I finished was My Story by Elizabeth Smart, and it was an audiobook. It was read by Elizabeth Smart, and it was about her abduction when she was 13 years old and the 9 months that she spent with her abductor. It was a good book to listen to. I was interested in it. However, I probably wouldn't listen or read it again, and it wasn't what I was expecting. I feel like a lot of the story was Elizabeth just trying to convince us that she didn't have Stockholm Syndrome. The fourth book I read was Before I Wake by Robert J. Wiersma. I was really excited to read this book because it seemed a little bit like If I Stay. At the very beginning, it just draws you in. I only looked away for a moment. The main event of this story happens in the very first few pages, and I expected it to be like If I Stay, where it's the little girl and she's deciding, blah, blah, blah. I don't want to give away any spoilers, but this was 100% not what I thought it was going to be. I had a really tough time getting through this book. I gave it 1.5 stars out of 5. It changed from being about a family whose daughter is in a coma to incorporating all these religious aspects and like church, and it just wasn't interesting to me anymore. I felt like it was trying to be way more than it should have been. It tried to combine these two worlds, and it just wasn't for me. I just wasn't feeling connected to it. It was trying to go back in history, and I don't know. I didn't really love it. So I gave it 1.5 stars because I loved the beginning of it, but then it kind of faded. Next, I have The Song Reader by Lisa Tucker, and I gave this 4 out of 5 stars. I absolutely love Lisa Tucker's writing style. I have loved all of the books I read except for one. I really liked the characters in this story. It's about a girl, and her older sister is a song reader, which means she takes what kind of songs are stuck in your head and decides like your future. It's almost like palm reading, but it's song reading. It was really about a family and the different types of families you might see. So it was a very unconventional family in this book, and things happen and how you deal with it and how you stick together when you're a family and how you get through these hard times. Honestly, I would 100% reread this. I would recommend it to anybody. The only reason I didn't give it 5 out of 5 stars is because I really didn't like the way the book ended. It implied what happens next, and I get it. I get it, but can you just tell me that that's definitely what's gonna happen, Lisa, please? Definitely interesting. Pick it up if you can. It's super good. So I was on vacation for a week in February, and I went on a Harry Potter binge. I watched all of the movies, and I needed to pick up the books and reread them, which was kind of crazy because I have so many books in my TBR pile, but I really just wanted to be immersed in that world, especially after watching all the movies again. I was like, wait, I want to read the books again. So I started. So I read Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone and Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets. These are the UK versions of the books. Obviously, you all know what Harry Potter is. If you don't, I don't know where you've been for like a very long time. I gave them 5 out of 5 stars. Every time I read them, I am brought back to my 4th grade self, and I just love them more and more every time I read them. Next, I read Even Adam by Michael Grant. I chose to give this book 3.5 out of 5 stars. I enjoyed the characters. I enjoyed the story. It was a very interesting and unique concept. I really liked the twist at the end of the book. I did not expect things to play out how they did. It was really fun, fast-paced, read it super quick. Even though some of these characters had like a sci-fi element to them, I found that they were relatable. I still really love this cover with like the, yeah, I love it. And this may be part of a series. It says #1 on Goodreads, so I would definitely pick up more books in the series to see what happens after this story. Then I picked up Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban, again, the UK version, 5 out of 5 stars, nothing really extra to say. Friggin' love Harry Potter, the end. I also picked up Eleanor and Park by Rainbow Rowell. Now I know a lot of people love this story, however, I found it to be okay. Don't hate me. I gave it 3 out of 5 stars. So here was my problem. This book was really different from books I usually read. I usually don't really read books about teenage romance. I usually stick to mysterious, thrilling kind of books or like magical. I don't know, I just don't really read this type of book. I loved the story of the budding romance between Eleanor and Park and how Park was, you know, looking past all of Eleanor's flaws and what other people saw as negative things and really got to know her, and it was beautiful. I felt like I was reading about them from the outside looking in. Like I wasn't immersed in the story. I didn't feel like I was a part of the story like I do when I'm really into a book. I feel like I'm in the story watching it happen. This, I felt like I was holding a book and I was outside of it and I was just hearing about these people. The main characters were really well developed and I did have a good sense of their backgrounds. I just couldn't connect with them on a personal level. I understood what was going on. I didn't really find myself empathizing with them. And I like to empathize with my characters. That's how I connect to them. I liked the ending. Obviously made me a little annoyed, but it was nice because I could think of all the different possibilities. It was an enjoyable, cute, nice, light read, just not one of my favorites. Then I picked up Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire, which I loved because it's Harry Potter. Again, 5 out of 5 stars, yay! Next, I decided to read Anya's Ghost by Vera Brosgol. This is from my latest book haul video, and it was such a quick read because it is a graphic novel. I was actually surprised with some of the issues that they talk about in the book. Like, this girl is, you know, typical high school. She just wants to fit in. She has body weight issues. A lot of her insecurities are played out through the situations. There was one part that I was a little bothered by. All I'm gonna say is it's the part where Sean is in the bedroom and his girlfriend is waiting outside. Yeah, I don't like that part. I loved finding out the backstory of the ghost, like totally unexpected. And I really enjoyed this book, actually. I ended up giving it 4 out of 5 stars, and I definitely recommend it. Finally, I read The Forgotten Girl by David Bell. This was the first novel I've read by David Bell, and I liked it. I gave it 3.5 stars. I did a long review on Goodreads. I liked the story. I was not satisfied with some of the characters. I had unanswered questions at the end of the book. I just felt like there were some loose ends in the story when it was over that didn't really add up or make any sense. I wasn't 100% satisfied. I just felt like the characters weren't completely developed, or there were scenes that were kind of just random and unnecessary, and some of the dialogue was like repetitive. This book was dialogue heavy. 90% of every page was dialogue, which is fine. I don't hate that or anything, but sometimes it's better to show and not tell, or give us a feel for the scene and where they are and describe things. I just felt like it was just people talking in a conversation the whole time. As you can tell, I did not pick up Teacher Tales and finish it. I could not bring myself to do it. So that's still part of my TBR for a very later date. Those are all the books I completed in February. However, I did start City of Bones by Cassandra Clare. I am currently 5 chapters in and on page 83. I'm loving it so far. Kind of jumped right into the story though. So my TBR for March is to finish City of Bones, find time to read the 5th Harry Potter. It is so large and in charge. Like, whoa, and like such a little print. But I do want to keep reading this series. The other 2 books I would like to read are the next books in the Mortal Instruments series. City of Ashes, City of Glass. Again, I don't know how much time I'm going to have. These are a lot of pages. It's only 4 books, but like, come on now. So who knows? That's just what I would like to accomplish. Thanks for watching and have a great week.